Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice for radio. So today, we're going to be looking at a Primeape. And ladies and gentlemen, I had a flick through my channel. Primeape has never had its own video. We did look at a Primeape in a news video over a year ago, but we've never done a full card analysis of a Primeape. I know, I'm a little bit excited. So let's have a gander, shall we? Starting off, the HP of 90 is pitifully low. Maybe one day we get a reprint of Level Ball, and if we get a reprint of Level Ball, I'm like, oh, cool, that's not so bad. But until then, 90 is just bad, ladies and gentlemen. Add in the weakness to Psychic and stuff like Garbodor, and it doesn't exactly look any better. But we have a retreat cost of 1, which is low and does open up a skateboard. And we are fighting type, which means Brooklet Hill to search out one of your basic fighting Pokemon. Which means Diancie Prism Star to do an extra 20 damage. Which means you're hitting weakness against something like Zoroark, and actually we're like, alright, the rest of the basics kind of suck, but I do like that he's a fighting Pokemon. But as always, it is the attacks we're worried about, and our translations here come from the lovely David Hochmann over at limitlesstcg.com/translations. Although I'm going to be honest with you, this first attack, we don't need no translation, ladies and gentlemen. 1 fighting energy, 30 damage. No! This is not good. Now look, I get it, right? 30 damage, and then you add a Choice Band, and it goes up to 60, and then you add a Diancie Prism Star, and then it goes up to 80, and then you're hitting weakness against Zoroark, and you go up to 106, and no! Yes, I know in Expanded you can even go further and add a Strong Energy, and then with Choice Band you're on 60, Diancie you're on 80, Strong Energy you're on 100, and then you add a Shrine of Punishment down, and oh look! Now you're doing at 210 and Zoroark gets 1 hit KO'd. No. I don't like it. We looked at Hitmonchan from this set the other day, and Hitmonchan's got the same 90 HP, is a fighting type, and does 30 damage for 1 fighting energy. Except it's a basic rather than a stage 1, and you also get the option to flick to the bench, though you don't have to. This first attack is not good. If you're even considering playing it for the first attack, please play Hitmonchan instead. However, the second attack here is what gets Primeape its own video. 1 fighting, 2 colorless energy, 80 damage. If there is a stadium in play, you do 160, then you discard the stadium. Now, one of the really awkward things about this is it gets rid of Shrine of Punishment. It takes Shrine of Punishment off the field, both literally and figuratively. And the order is quite important here. You do the attack, you discard the stadium as part of the attack, and then Shrine of Punishment is not there between turns to put the damage on. This will get rid of Shrine of Punishment before you do the damage. If, for argument's sake, you're in the expanded format and you're playing Fighting Stadium, and you happen to be against an EX Pokemon, then you do get the extra 20 for Fighting Stadium as part of the attack. Then you discard it, so you do get the benefit of Fighting Stadium in Expanded, but then Fighting Stadium only does extra damage to EXs, not GXs, and that is a slight potential issue. Because, I mean, look, Volcanion still sees a bit of play in Expanded, and Shaman's still in some decks. There are people playing EX Pokemon, just not enough to make it worth actually playing Fighting Stadium. But the thing is, getting rid of the stadium here, we're not really thinking about getting rid of your stadium. We're thinking of getting rid of your opponents, or at least hurting your opponent. Because one hilarious thing you can do with an attack like this is use Brooklet Hill. Search out whatever Pokemon you want, and then maybe your opponent is either playing a Water/Fighting deck, or they're playing Water/Fighting Pokemon. And what you can do here is then use this attack, which will discard Brooklet Hill, and then you get to use it, but your opponent doesn't. But largely here, I'm thinking about Prism Star Stadiums. Prism Star Stadiums are phenomenal. And Thunder Mountain is probably the best of all of them. It reduces the attack cost of all Lightning Pokemon by 1 Lightning Energy. That is ridiculous. It is borderline broken. And remember, when we're talking about Prism Star stadiums, they cannot be removed with stuff like Field Blower or Fabber. The only way to get rid of a Prism Star stadium is to replace it with another stadium, or to use an attack that gets rid of it. Well, in comes Primeape, and Primeape's like, what up? I'm here to get rid of that stadium. I've heard about your stadium problem. I'm here to fix it. Set up the tent, boys. We're getting rid of this stadium. That last one was like a fumigation reference where you put a tent up and fumigate to get rid of roaches. I don't know how well that one came across. But the point is, this gets rid of stadiums beautifully. Now, the one that I think I know, but this one's going to cause some issues, is Black Market Prism Star. Because you see, Darkness Pokemon, many of which will be weak here, can use this, and you take one fewer prize when you KO a Darkness Pokemon with Darkness Energy attached. Now, my inkling here is you use the attack. While using the attack, you discard the stadium. When the attack is resolved, you then take your prizes. I'm fairly sure that's how it works. So you discard the stadium at the end of the attack, and then after the attack, you go, oh, I've knocked it out, I get the prize. I believe this will work beautifully against that stadium. Something like a Zoroark's going to want to try and use it so they only give up one prize rather than two. Well, in comes Primeape and goes, not so fast. I would like to have a word with you about that. So this is really, really nice. The getting rid of the stadium works. At the moment, the only really viable Pokemon we've got that gets rid of stadiums is White Kyurem from Lost Thunder. And you can, for a double colorless energy, do 30 damage and discard your opponent's stadium. Not your own, incidentally, only your opponent's. But really, you want to be doing 160. That's the main goal of White Kyurem. So you generally want to be using the attack, which does lots of damage. That's mainly what you want to do here. This is now probably the best one we've got, and as a side note, he's clearly going Super Saiyan, which is awesome. Now, in terms of the damage here, it's good, but you are being severely limited by the fact that you can't use Shrine of Punishment. Our translation from David, and David is usually spot on with this stuff. You do the damage, then discard the stadium. Any stadium in play, not your opponent's. And it's not an option, you have to discard any stadium in play. Now, the good news is, with Choice Band, you'll get a one-hit KO on a Zoroark, even if there's no stadium in play. You'll be doing 110, double with weakness goes up to 220. So that's actually really nice. That does make me happy. I believe that does help. But if you have got a stadium in play, you're doing 160. And 160, as far as I'm concerned at the moment, is one of the key numbers in the Pokemon TCG. 160 gets the vast majority of non-GXs, including stuff like Solgaleo Prism Star. Then, of course, you add a Choice Band, you're up to 190, so stuff like Buzzwole goes down, and, you know, Blacephalon and all those Pokemon that have less than that. And then, don't forget, we've got Diancie Prism Star. So now you're up to 210, and you're getting things like Lycanroc, for instance. The problem is, if you want to get up above 210, you want to get up to stuff like Gardevoir, for instance, you really need Shrine of Punishment to do the extra damage, to drop the extra damage counters. And the issue is you can't actually do that because you discard the stadium before the damage goes on. You're still one-hit KOing an awful lot of good, relevant Pokemon, and I would be foolish to presume that you're not. But the fact of the matter is, you aren't getting everything, you are limited. And look, 210 for free energy on a non-GX is good. But it's not as good as it could be. And that actually does bring me to another point here. It's a fighting double colorless. It's not the easiest energy cost to pay. No, it's the same one we pay for Lycanroc to use Claw Slash, but Lycanroc's got more than double the HP. Lycanroc's going to stay around for a little bit longer. You will need to get the extra energy on there. That is a bit of an issue. It is a very, very powerful attack that hits the numbers lovely and gets rid of stadiums, which is really good at the moment. But the free energy hurts and the 90 HP hurts. The lack of Shrine of Punishment hurts a little bit, but not as much. I'm going to be giving this free Wassies. I do think it's a fun card and I do think there are uses for it. But I think the low HP and needing a third energy is going to be what ultimately stops this being a viable card. Or at least a viable top-level tournament winning card. But maybe I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen, or maybe I'm right. Either way, I would encourage you, please, to head on over to the comment section and let me know. Go nuts, but please do remember the most important rule of all. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays for some more Wassy action. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.